Welcome everybody to another video, and today I thought I'd just try something a little different to see if it can improve my insect and macro photography. I was recently photographing one of my favourite butterflies, the marbled white, and it was just a couple of 100 yards up this path. Now it was a good opportunity and I got some good pictures, but it was just so uncomfortable, and I was kind of like, I don't know, not kneeling or sitting, just kind of in the middle and trying to get low down and trying to keep the camera steady. But I couldn't help thinking at the time that if I had some kind of support, it would have made my life easier, certainly on my lower back and a few other things as well. So I thought, how about a monopod for that kind of situation? So that's what I'm going to test today. For my macro and insect photography, I do like to do it handheld. I really like the flexibility of that, but I do think there might be a place for a monopod. So that's what I've got here. It's from a Canon concept tripod. What you do is you take out the center column and then you take off part of the leg and you actually screw it together. It turns into, rather cleverly, this monopod. So we're going to try that today. You're going to have more stability than hand holding. Also, it's going to be less bulky and lighter to carry around. And I think importantly as well, if you're using a tripod for this kind of photography, when you're trying to get in there, get in the undergrowth and not disturb things, it can be really difficult. Trying to get the tripod in with all three legs and making adjustments, that can cause a lot of disturbance at times. With the monopod, you're just going to have that one leg, just going to plant it down in that one place and it should be a lot better, less disturbance. Yeah, I like the idea of this. If you're hand holding for this kind of photography, then sometimes the positions you're in and the fact that you've got to bear the weight of the camera just puts a bit more strain on your body, on your muscles, on ligaments and joints and things like that. So I'm still having to get into a certain position and make adjustments with the camera. I'm still kind of holding the camera, but just the fact that it's supported from below with the monopod, I think does really help. What I've got on this monopod is this really chunky ball head. This is my main ball head I use for macro and landscape photography. It's actually called pig iron and I've found it really good ever since I bought it, but it is nice and chunky. I've put that on rather than the ball head that came with this tripod because I think this is just going to bear the weight of this camera much better. One more thing I've done is to make sure that this gap here on the ball head is pointing towards where I'm shooting. So this allows me to tilt right down like that. It's unlikely I'm going to be pointing upwards, but it is fairly likely that I'm going to be tilting down towards some kind of macro subject. So if you make sure that's at the front, then you're going to have no problems tilting down if you need to. Right, let's go test this out properly now. I found a couple of 6-spot burnet moths on scabious plant, so we're going to have a go at this. I'm too low here with the monopod, so I'm just going to adjust it to get the right height. Ow. I'm going to try and get on top of one of them because it's difficult to get the two. So I'm going to go for the one on top, so I'm going to try and get the same angle to be as parallel as I can to that one moth. So that means I've got to go higher. Yeah, higher. Higher. Right, let's try that. There we go, there we go. There we go. It's actually proven really difficult because I've got two moths and they're both at slightly different angles, so I can only really get one of them sharp, and it's a bit windy as well. It's not the perfect conditions for this. But yeah, I'm liking having that support. It feels a little bit restricted in terms of making those fine adjustments, which I knew it would, but just having that support from the monopod just feel a bit more comfortable. What I was doing there was kind of pivoting forward, so if I was doing that handheld, I'd try and get one leg slightly in front and then I'd handhold and I'd just kind of move forward with the camera. What I'm doing there with the monopod is really similar, just using a monopod instead, is trying to get the leg of the monopod a little bit forward, trying to judge it to get a little bit forward, and then basically I'm using that to pivot, and then I'm going forward like that towards the insect at the angle that I'm after. So I'm trying to judge the angle and judge the distance so that when I kind of move forward, I'm going to be at the right distance for the image. So it's not easy, probably took a little bit of trial and error, but I got it after a few attempts, kind of got into the swing of things. The burnet moths are still there, they're going to be roosting for the night now. Right, see what else we can find. Oh, my knees, oh, getting old. If you need to get lower down, it's going to be nice and simple. Just simply lower it, really nice and easy. You can get much lower to the ground if you need to. Now, one thing I did think was, does it matter which leg you move when you adjust the height? So let's just say if we adjust the middle leg for now, if I wanted to make this higher, should I do the top section or the bottom section? Does it matter? And I thought about this, and I think to me, it's just a case of probably whichever causes the least disturbance. So in terms of where you are in the grasses, in the foliage, whether you move the bottom or whether you move the top to get the same height, it's probably just whichever causes the least disturbance. That makes sense to me. I got some shots there. It was a bit of a challenge because it was quite windy at times, so it's not the ideal conditions for macro photography, but I persevered. It's just what you've got to do sometimes. I think really it was pretty much as I expected. I did find it frustrating at times. I didn't have that flexibility. So particularly with the soldier beetles, I did towards the end there. And because they were moving around so much and in different positions, different angles, I was having to change my position quite a lot, including my height. Some I was kind of going above them looking down, other times I wanted to try a side-on shot. Now hand holding that would have just been so quick to get in position. Using the monopod, I've got to take time to adjust the height. So just that extra time to adjust the height of the monopod is, you know, you could miss shots by doing that. Maybe I missed some shots there, but I did like having the extra support. You know, I think it's great if you've got something that's not moving around too much. So if you find a roosting butterfly or dragonfly, damselfly, whatever it is, and it's just staying there, or something that's moving, you know, very, very slightly, and it's at the same height, then you can get your monopod, you can adjust the height and get it as you want it, and then take those images. But I do think otherwise, if it's more of a sort of common situation, the subject's moving a bit more, then I'd probably stick to hand holding. What I would say, it's worth putting a monopod, if you've got a monopod, it's worth putting one in your bag, because generally they're really light things, they don't weigh anything. Just throw a monopod in the bag, attach it to the side of your bag and take it with you, because there might be those situations, and particularly where the light's getting really low, there might be those situations where you find the perfect subject and it's a bit difficult with slow shutter speeds, and just having that extra support might make all the difference in getting a sharp image, and you don't have to lug a tripod around. So it's kind of a mid-ground really. If you have tried this yourself, then do let me know in the comments box how you got on for this style of photography with a monopod. It's something I've never really tried until today. If you're interested in more macro and insect photography videos, then check out my channel and the specific playlists. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.